I now enter the secret closet of my mind, and I look upon the stage of my imagination. I see myself being what I want to be, doing what I want to do, and having what I want to have. I see myself as a healthy person. I see myself and feel the health and strength of God flowing in my soul, mind, and body. I see myself as a happy person. I take happiness wherever I go, and I spread joy wherever I go. I see myself loving and being loved in divine order. I see myself as a successful, prosperous person. I see myself having lots of money. I have money, but money does not have me. I see myself becoming everything that my heart desires. I open my mind. I open my mind to great and happy possibilities. I open my mind and make a decision about the good that I want. I visualize what it is that I want to manifest. I see myself being, doing, and having all the good that I deserve. Therefore, I make the reality out of the possibility. And so it is. Thank you for tuning in to the Lessons in Wisdom call tonight. My name is Issachar Bey. I am the Senior Director of the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center, and I want to welcome you to our call tonight. We are living in a very peculiar time, or I would say such a season as this that we are in now. We're in the month of July. We know that this is our month of expansion and elevation. And I move and operate through spirit, through divine source. And tonight, source has got me moving into some interesting teachings and different things that I would normally not do, but it's moving me in a position. And so I believe that we are in a time now where it's time to really start to really get into our purpose, to really move and operate into our destiny, what it is that we want to bring into this fruition of what we call life, this journey. What is it that we are going to bring and begin to serve humanity with? What service do you provide? What is it that has been embedded in you? What is your gift and your talent that now has been placed and placed inside of you that now you are going to cultivate and build so that you can now share it with the world? We are living in a place now where we see that the times, the handwriting on the wall is being displayed, that we're getting ready to embark on major changes. Whenever we see things changing, it lets us know that there is a changing of the guard, so to speak. And what happens is we're not of the world, so what happens in the world doesn't affect us, but at the same time, we still have to be able to adapt because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Everybody on this call tonight should be in a place and should be in the mindset of creating your own reality. You should be in a place where you're not allowing life to live you, but that you are now living life. You're not being moved, and you're not being torn and being pushed by the currents of life. But you are beginning to declare and decree the kind of life that you want to experience. And so now you are starting to command life rather than life commands you. And so it's in this time, it is in this season that we're in, where we begin to understand what is needed from each and every one of us to be able to launch out into the deep and begin to tap into our consciousness of greatness, our consciousness of becoming a winner. Winners always win. And when you begin to understand that you are a winner, you understand that you will always win. You will never take a loss. Winners always win. When you embark and tap into your consciousness of greatness, you have to understand that at that level of consciousness, you may be by yourself, because not everybody is going to be able to go to that level of consciousness of greatness. We are all operating now in our millionaire consciousness. Those of you that have been joining on with us every Sunday, we've been going through the Millionaires of the Bible series. We've been cultivating, we've been using the techniques, we've been applying them to our lives and beginning to expand our consciousness, and we're operating in our millionaire's consciousness. We are moving and operating and being able to see ourselves being, doing, and having all of our heart's desires. I begin to look at where we are. Where are we now? Where are we now in our lives? You know, I have to ask the question tonight, where do you see yourself next year this time? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? We're going to discuss this tonight, because we got to be in a place that we got to know where we're going. It's not enough just to know who we are. It's not enough, but now movement has to be done. Action must take place. It's not enough for me to study the Word of God. It's not enough for me to memorize it and to know scriptures and to be able to quote it. The Bible says faith without works is dead, being yet alone. So I have to get into the action place now, where now it's time to take action. I got to be able to make a move and begin to now start moving in the direction and taking my life by force. I got to be able to make sure that I'm aiming at the right target, but now I got to take the shot. We spend so long trying to aim and make sure that we're at the right place and that we are aiming in the right direction. We never took the shot. Now that you have your aim together and you know what the target is, take the shot. Tonight, I want to talk about creating your life roadmap. Creating your life's roadmap. Why? Because in order for you to get to the place where you are going, you need to have a blueprint. You need to have something that can illustrate what's going on. I began to talk to some people not too long ago, and we were talking about they wanted to start a business, and they had some great concepts, some great ideas. We always know that money chases ideas, and the more ideas you have, the more money you make, right? And so I told them that in order for you to be successful in this business, you got to have the blueprint. Where is your business plan? There has to be a business plan. There has to be something that begins to orchestrate where the business is, where do we project the business is going, who is our target audience. These are the things that needs to be displayed before one can actually take the stand and make the move to go ahead and launch this business. The same thing with your life. If you are in a place right now and you want to move to where you are, to where your destiny calls, to where your purpose has pushed you, you have to have a roadmap. You got to be able to have some kind of a blueprint roadmap that will begin to allow you to orchestrate, structure, and lay it out as to what it is that you're going for. Somebody might say tonight, well, I know that I don't want to be where I'm at in my life right now. I'm not happy. I don't like what I'm dealing with. I don't like the situations that are being present in my life, and I'm not too clear on where I need to go or where I'm going, but I know I don't want to be here. Well, I'm glad that you're on this call tonight because we need to discuss some things. We need to unpack how we're going to get to where we are now to where we need to be, or where is it that we want to be. Because in order for me to say is where I need to be, we have to understand that our needing to be somewhere is based on our own visionary concept. It's based on our own visionary concept of ourselves, of where we feel like we should be, or where is it that we're going. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about, they were reading the scripture where it says that we ought to fear God. And he said, well, how can you fear God if you don't know him? And we begin to talk and have a conversation. And based on the conversation, I can tell that the person still looked at God as somebody outside of themselves. They looked at God as being in the sky, this invisible being, this mysterious being that lives in the sky. And I begin to say, well, you know, the one thing that you have to understand is that there's no God in the sky. The God that you're looking for in the sky is inside of you. When you find yourself, you find God. When you find God, you find yourself. There is no separation between you and God. For the God in you, Bible says that the kingdom of heaven is within. And so if we understand and we are able to grasp and embrace that concept of knowing that the kingdom of heaven is within us, then we understand and know that God is within us, not without. And that becomes an issue when we look at God outside of ourselves. It becomes an issue now because we come into a knowledge or understanding of being unbalanced, because everything has to come from within. I want to, if we could, I want to talk about before anything can transpire, before you can create a roadmap, before you can create a blueprint, before you can create a business plan, a life plan, whatever kind of plan you're going to put together, before anything could be done, I'm always the person that must understand my foundation. Anything that you're going to create, you must first establish the foundation, because you want to make sure that the foundation upon which you're going to build has been laid and it is secure. Nobody wants to get married on an unstable foundation, and 7 years into the marriage, the whole thing falls apart because the foundation was never secure. Now, nobody wants to build a business, and 4 or 5 years into the business, it falls apart because the foundation was not secure. It wasn't built on a good foundation. And so before anything can be done, we first got to be able to lay a strong foundation down. If you can't go with me, I want to go for just a moment. I want to go to the book of Luke, the 6th chapter, verses 47 through 49. I'm going to be reading out of the King James. 47 says, whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. Verse 48, he is like a man which built a house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose and the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon the rock. Verse 49 says, but he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Your foundation is everything. How you build your foundation. Here it is. The scripture talks about the man who built his house by digging down deep to lay the foundation. You understand your foundation that you're going to build must be built in consciousness. He talks about the man who built the foundation on the earth, which is in the physical realm. And when the storms and everything came against it, it began to fail. Why? Because it was built in the physical world. It wasn't built in consciousness. It wasn't built in the spiritual and tangible realm. You must dig down deep into your spiritual subconscious mind and begin to build the foundation upon which you're going to build. Your foundation has to be everything. If it's a marriage, if it's a business, if it's your life map, it's your roadmap, whatever you're building, whatever you're getting ready to expand and elevate to, you must first lay the foundation. The foundation must be built in consciousness, because once it's built, understand this, whatever is built, whatever is intangible is eternal in the heavens. It lasts forever. But that which is tangible and built on earth is temporary. What I'm building, I'm looking for longevity. I'm not looking for a quick fix. I'm not looking for something that we could just throw together and see what works. I'm building a legacy. I'm building something that I want to be able to have longevity, generation after generation, that will be able to still be passed down after I'm long gone. I'm looking for the longevity, the legacy. And so my foundation has to be built correctly. If we're going to create this life map, our foundation has to be built in consciousness. It has to be built because we understand and know that consciousness is our only reality. It's the only reality that we have. Man will always get or receive what he first gives himself. Where are you consciously at? Where is your foundation? Is your foundation connected to drama? Is your foundation connected to negativity, loss, lack, limitation? These are the things that has to be understood and looked at when talking about building the foundation. Our foundation is something that we really have to take a real good look at, because your foundation, no matter what happens, is what's going to hold and upkeep everything that you're building. It's going to be able to sustain and take the variations, the ups, the downs of whatever you're going to be going through in your journey to get to where you're going. Now, your foundation is you. There's no separation between you and your foundation. When he talks about the man who dug down deep and began to lay the foundation, you got to understand that there's no separation between you and your foundation. You are the foundation. And when you realize that you are the foundation and that your foundation was built in consciousness, it was built in the intangible realm, you begin to now realize that you yourself are the foundation. It can't be broken. It can't be overturned. It can't be destroyed, because you have done it in the intangible realm, right? The only person that can stop it is you. You are the only person that can destroy or break down or release that foundation. You are the only one. And so it's very vital that we look at that and that we begin to operate and really move in that. Every map has a starting point, a map. It's something that people use when they're going somewhere and they want to make sure they're staying on course. They know where they are and they know where they are going. I remember I just recently moved to San Antonio, and for a long while, I went everywhere and I used my GPS. I used the GPS map. Why? Because I put in my destination and it would give me I would follow the instructions on how to get there. Now, sometimes in following the instructions, I would make a wrong turn. And what it would do was it would readjust to the turn that I made, and it would still kind of put me back on course to getting to my destination. But you have to have a starting point to know where it is, or what it is that where are we going, right? We got to know where we're going. We got to know who we are. We have to have a level of self-knowledge, self-awareness. We have to know, where are we in life? What season are you in? We talked about the 4 seasons, right? What season of life are you in? Are you operating correctly? What adjustments need to be made? What things do I need to know about myself? I need to come into a greater level of self-awareness. Some people says, I had a conversation with some people the other day, and they were saying, you know what, I don't necessarily want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. And I said, I can tell you right now that in order for you to be comfortable, you have to be rich. There's no way to be comfortable unless you are rich. You need to have more than enough to be comfortable. If we're going to be operating in a millionaire consciousness, we don't want to put a number on our good. We want unlimited good to constantly come forth from the north, south, east, and the west. We want the unlimited supply. We want our cups to continually run over. But at the start of my map, in my life map, I have to determine, who am I? A level of self-awareness, self-knowledge of who I am, and what is my purpose in life? What is my destiny? Right? I want to be happy. I want to be successful. I want to be able to. I want to do what I love, because they say if you do what you love, you're not working. You'll never work another day in your life, right? But I also want that whatever I do, I want it to sustain me and be able to maintain and sustain me in life. But all that falls back down on now your foundation. Your foundation is what's going to sustain you. Your foundation is what's going to keep you, because your foundation is what's going to hold everything that you build, because your foundation is you. There is no separation between you or your foundation. No separation. When I see you, I see the foundation. When I see the foundation, I see you. So we got to get to a place where we're at the start of this map that we're creating, and I want to go 5 years. We're in 2021. 5 years from now will be 2026. So 5 years from now, where do you see yourself being, doing, and having? Right. In that regard, you would jot down a couple of things. I like to have my own house. I'd like to have a business. Some of you may say I want to be married. I want to maybe try to have a baby, a child. I want to, really, I want to be moving into entrepreneurship. Some of you may say I want to relocate out of the country. Whatever it is that you want to do, because a lot of us trying to figure out what our purpose and destiny is will take a little bit more, especially if you're not aware or don't have an understanding of what your purpose or your destiny is. You need to aim and have a target. So I say within the next 5 years, where do you see yourself being, doing, and having, right? You're gonna. So those of you that are listening, I want you to write this down. Your 5-year plan, blueprint, life roadmap. Where do you see yourself being, doing, and having 5 years from now, right? Once you are able to write down a few things that you want to do, at least have a target or an aim where you would like to see yourself, because nobody else can project where you're going other than you. If you don't see it, it won't happen. You know, the most frustrating thing in life sometimes is when you see something for somebody and they can't see for themselves. You know, I've seen a lot of people who are very, you know, growing up in high school, I used to say this all the time, that they were people who were very talented, people who were very creative, but no matter how much we told them or how much we praised them and lifted them up, nothing happened because they didn't see it. And so the same thing with this roadmap. Wherever you see yourself 5 years from now, you guys can come to me. I can tell you what, according to the looking into the heavens and seeing what the heavens declared on your life. We can discover that. But until you see it, until you're able to see where you want to be, it means absolutely nothing. So we have to now move into the theater of your mind for you to be able to visualize and see yourself. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? From that, whatever you write down, whether it's going to be, like I said, a job, married, entrepreneurship, whatever it is that you're going to put down, you want to figure out the destination. Your destination is going to be the vision of who you are. That's what your destination is. Now listen, the destination is going to be broken down because as we understand, everything we do is from the inside out, not the outside in. This roadmap that we're doing, even though we're writing it in the physical ramifications in the physical outer world, it is a direct indication of what we're going to be going through on the intangible inner realm, because it must first happen inside before it can happen outside. Our destination is going to be what we vision ourselves of who we are on a spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and then physical level. Where are you going? Let's use, for example, Becky. Becky is going to start a shoe business. And so Becky has already, in her mind, created her own foundation in consciousness. She's already know who she is. She's connected to Source. She understands and knows that consciousness is her only reality. She operates and moves in consciousness. Now, Becky's beginning to put a roadmap together. And so now she's going to start selling shoes. She's been able to determine, in 5 years from now, she wants to have expanded her shoe selling business to become global. She's going to be working digitally, where she's going to be able to work through a manufacturer where she sets up the website, she creates the traffic, you go to the website, you buy the shoes, they mail them out to you, right? But now there's a lot that has to take place. We're just writing down the destination of where we're going. You got to be able to see yourself being, doing, and having it. You got to see yourself first, because no matter how much we could have been rooting Becky on, nothing happens until she sees it. Nothing happens until she believes it. Nothing happens until she takes action. Nothing happens in your life as far as changing it, as far as moving in a new direction, as far as taking control of your life, until you see it, until you believe it, until you take the action. And once you begin to take action, you are now able to move in the direction that you wanted to go to. But you got to take the action. We can't allow fear to paralyze us, because that's what fear does. It paralyzes you. The false evidence appearing real. Why? Because I don't have the money. Maybe I'm not educated enough, or maybe you don't feel worthy enough because you feel like, because of how you were brought up, or because of the people that you hang around, because of your environment, that this is something that's impossible, but we have to begin to move out of that, begin to detach ourselves from those thoughts and come back and go inside again and begin to do work now. Because if you're laying the right foundation, those kind of thoughts will automatically be removed from the very start. Those thoughts of inferiority, those thoughts of lack, loss, and limitation, those thoughts that I'm not worthy enough, those thoughts will be removed after laying the correct foundation. Now, when you are operating on a roadmap, you have a starting point. You're able to put down what you're going to be doing in the next 5 years, or where you see yourself in the next 5 years. Your destination is going to be who are you, right? Your vision of what it is that where you're going, right? You're going to be working on the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and physical aspect of the destination. You're going to be working with those because those are the key components that will allow you to develop and define your destination. But now we have to have a vehicle to get there. What is the vehicle? The vehicle is going to be your mission. Everybody ought to have a mission statement for their life. If you've ever done a business plan, they always have you write a mission statement. What is this business about? What's the mission statement for the business? If we're doing a life map, roadmap, everybody should have a mission statement for their life. Could be one paragraph, a few sentences, but what is your mission statement? Your mission statement is going to be about you, your self-assessment of you, of your purpose, of your destiny, right? Because these things will help you to define, bring clarity into your life, to not make it so complicated. We have a way of sometimes making things more complicated than they ought to be, right? Because we overthink things, we become afraid, we become scared, we go by what we hear, we go by what other people say, we go by what the statistics say, we go by what they said on CNN, we go by what they said on Google, what the videos are saying on YouTube. We go through all of those things. Once again, here we are dangling in the physical realm, and we're allowing ourselves to be paralyzed by fear because we don't know how to take control and begin to control the five senses. Anytime our five senses take control of us, that's when the fear comes in, because the fear comes by what we see, feel, taste, touch, or hear, right? What we have to do is learn how to master the five senses so we don't allow ourselves to be overcome with fear. But at the same time, your mission statement, everybody should have a mission statement for their life. It will bring you so much clarity to your life. It will make you feel good knowing that you have an understanding and know what your mission in life is. What is the mission? Your mission statement is the vehicle. It is the thing that will take you to your destination. Whatever it is that you see yourself doing, being, and having in the next 5 years, your mission, whatever your mission statement is, that mission statement will take you to there. The mission statement will allow you to get even more clarity in your purpose. Why were you born? Your destiny. What gifts and talents were you given? Everybody is an original. And when you understand that you're an original, you don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to copycat. You don't have to try to be like anybody else. The best thing you can do is to be you. Shakespeare said it best. He said, to be or not to be, that is the question. And then they call us human beings. In the word being is the word be, which means you don't have to try. You ain't got to hope, wish, just be. Just be who you are, who you are created to be. Walk in your total understanding of the God in you. Walk in it. Become it. You only get out of life what you become. You never get out of life what you want. You never get out of life what it is that you think you need. You only get out of life what you become. To be or not to be, that is the question. This roadmap that we're talking about tonight is you. There's going to be no separation between you and the roadmap. That's why you have to become the very thing. Whatever it is that you said you see yourself being, doing, and having 5 years from now, you have to become that thing. That's the only way that you're going to be able to manifest it, is to become it. We only get out of life what we become. And your mission statement, your self-assessment, your understanding of your purpose and your destiny will be the vehicle that will allow you to go and move from your destination to destination. Now, in every travel, when you are traveling, you take your travel bag with you, right? And in your travel bag, you have necessities that you take. When anybody's on a road trip, there's certain things that you take when you're on a road trip, because you never know what's going to be needed. So you pack the things that you feel like you're going to need while you're on a road trip. While we are creating this life's roadmap in our travel bag, there's 3 things that each one of us must always have in our travel bag. It's going to be knowledge, skills, and attitude. Those are the 3 things that must always be in your travel bag: knowledge, skills, and your attitude. The knowledge, the knowing how, the knowing of what it is that you are or where you're going, right? To know what it is that you're going to be doing 5 years from now, you got to have the knowledge of it to know what it is. What is it about? To have knowledge of it, to have the skill set to embrace it, because if I'm going to become something, I have to have knowledge of what it is I'm going to become. If I'm going to be a doctor, if I'm going to be a lawyer, if I'm going to become a lawyer, if I'm going to become a doctor, I have to have knowledge of it. Not only do I have to have the knowledge of it, but I have to have the skill set of how to operate as a doctor, how to operate as a lawyer. If I'm going to become a plumber, I'm going to have knowledge of the plumber, but then also I have to have the skill set of being able to have the skills to become and operate as a plumber. So it's your knowledge base that you have to have the knowledge base, but then you also have to have the skill set of what it is that you're going to be coming into, and that you're going within this roadmap. And your attitude is your altitude, right? The attitude is important because the attitude is what controls your feeling nature. Your feeling nature is very vital because it is what allows you to magnetize and pull in the very things that you need. You can't have an attitude of lack, loss, limitation. You can't have an attitude of selfishness. You can't have an attitude of, if it happens, it happens. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. You can't have those kind of attitudes, because those attitudes are connected to the feeling nature. And those attitudes will start to magnetize the very thing that you have going on. I can't allow myself to be caught in those situations by my attitude. I must always be able to control and have control over my attitude. Why? Because my attitude is my altitude. It determines how high I'm able to go, how I'm able to ascend to one level of consciousness to the next. It allows me to utilize my knowledge and my skill set to be able to really hone in on what it is that I'm going to be moving in the direction that I'm moving in. It's going to be able to allow me to hone my skills and my knowledge to make it to the destination that I'm going to. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, right? Now, so we'll say, where do you see yourself in the year 2026? And then what can you do 3 years from then that can help you there, right? So 3 years from, what can you do within 3 years that will help you to get to where you need to be at in 5 years, right? This is knowledge and skill set that we're putting together right now. And then from 3 years, where do you see yourself? What can you do within 1 year that will put you in a place within 3 years that will help you get to where you need in 5 years, right? And then where do you see yourself 6 months? What could you do within 6 months from now that will help you within 1 year from now, that will help you within 3 years from now, that will help you within 5 years? From 6 months, what can you do within the next 30 days that will help you and set you up for the next 6 months? That within those 6 months will set you up for the next year. Will set you up for the next year, for the next 3 years. And for the next 3 years will set you up for the 5-year destination of where you're going. So from 5 years, we went back to 3 years. From 3 years, we went back to 1 year. From 1 year, we went back to 6 months. From 6 months, we went back to 30 days, right? Knowledge and skill set to get us to where we want to be within the next 5 years. Now, unlike most of us, I'm pretty sure most of us, if I asked you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of things you're going to write down, because guess what? 5 years from now, everybody on this call would have evolved. You're not going to be the same person that you are now 5 years from now. You're going to be much more wiser. You should be much more at a higher level of consciousness. You should definitely be in a different place. So your needs, the things that you need, your evolution is going to be much more greater than it is now. So I'm pretty sure that most of us are going to have multiple things that we see ourselves being, doing, and having 5 years from now, because we're operating in our level of consciousness. We're operating at a place now where we're saying, listen, 5 years from now, I want to be able to maybe be working on because I'm already operating in $1 million. So about 5 years from now, I want to be operating at $10, $15 million. I want to be operating at $20 million, whatever it is that you want to do. I want to have a stock portfolio of $5 million. I want to, whatever it is that you are moving to, you have to ask yourself, because now your roadmap is based on your mission statement, right? It's based on your purpose and your destiny. So what that means is that a lot of us, we can't operate now in the physical. And what I mean by that is that your roadmap, yes, there will be some physical things on your roadmap, but your roadmap can't be all about just gaining physical things. It can't be just about getting a house, getting a car. I mean, those are things that we can go for, and those are things that we can automatically get. But those things are not part of our destiny and our purpose, because those things are assessments, those things that we can get at any time. So you want to really make sure that you're operating in your purpose and your destiny. Because once you're operating in your purpose and your destiny, all the other assessments come along with it. The cars, the clothes, the house, the whatever physical things that we gather or put value on, those things they come as accessories, but they're not primary. You know, another thing that I want to add to the travel bag is your values. What do you value? What you value is very important. What is it that you put value on? Because this will allow you to really move into a place where we start looking at the importance of what we value. What is valuable to us? What is it that we value a lot? What is it that we keep, hold dear to our hearts? What's important? Is it our family? Is it our job, our career? Is it your health, finances, spirituality? What is it that you value the most? Because what you value will also be included in this travel bag and will be very important, because what you value, what you hold of great regard to, is the things that complete you. You should never value anything of a physical nature because it can be taken away from you. But your value should be intangible. Your value should be courage, should be love, respect, honor, loyalty, right? Those are the things that we should that are intangible. But also we see the ramifications of those things in our physical reality, but in retrospect, they are intangible because we don't see courage. We see the ramifications or the effects of courage. We don't see loyalty. We see the ramifications of loyalty, right? We don't see, we've never saw love. What we've done is we may have felt it, or we may have encountered what we call the ramifications of love, but we've never seen it before, right? But love is one of the greatest powers that we have on earth. Had a conversation again with somebody, and we was talking about the ramifications of love and how love is an intangible thing. It's an intangible power, right? And many times when people are in relationships and the relationships don't work out, they get their hearts broken, or the relationship ends abruptly, and it's not a good situation. Many times people will say, you know what, I don't want to get into another relationship because, man, love hurts. That person hurt me. Love hurts. Love can never hurt. It's impossible for love to hurt anybody. What happened was the person that you were in a relationship with didn't understand love, and they hurt you. But love can never hurt. It's impossible. You thought that the person that you were in a relationship with loved you, and so because of the abrupt relationship breaking up, the ramifications of the relationship, the things that happen, the ups and downs, you felt that because that person loved you, that's what love did. But that person didn't understand love and how to operate in love, so that person hurt you. But love can never hurt you. Love is one of the greatest healing powers known to man. So what is it that we value? Because what we value needs to be placed in our travel bag as well as we go on our journey to create our life roadmap. What is it that you value? It can't be the value of the money. It can't be the value of a house and a car, because those things could be taken away from us, and they're not anything with substance. So you always want to make sure that what you are valuing is things that are intangible, that you can hold deep within yourself. Remember, he that builds the foundation and dug down deep and laid the foundation, his foundation was able to withstand the storm. Now, you got to realize on your life's journey, as you're creating this map, there's going to be some storms in life. There's going to be some turns, some detours. There's going to be some U-turns. There's going to be some adjustments that need to be made. So understand that this plan that we're laying out of where we're going from the 5 year to the 3 year to the 1 year to the 6 months to the 30 days, right? There's still going to be some changes, some adjustments that need to be made. Why? Because as you're going to your destiny, life has to get ready to prepare you to become the very thing that you are moving towards. And sometimes the situations and circumstances may not always be what you consider to be favorable, or what I would say the good kind of situations, or the favorable situations that you will perceive to be favorable. They may come around, and situations may stretch you. It may open your eyes. It may allow you to see things that you never saw before. You may go through some things that may make your character stronger, right? That will make you a little bit more wiser. Why? Because remember, knowledge, skill, attitude, and value are what's going to be placed in the travel bag. So as you go on this life's journey, creating this map, you're going to develop knowledge, you're going to develop skills, while learning to alternate your attitude as you go from one level to the next. Because there's so many things that are going to transpire within that. Remember that life is a journey. It's not a destination. But because life is a journey, I do want to also talk about this. While you are creating your roadmap and you're going on your life's mission, you have to have landmarks. Landmarks are what we use to measure our success. So landmark says, I'm going to publish a book. 5 years from now, I want to release 3 more books, right? So the books that I publish will be a landmark, because I'll be able to manage my success or measure my success by the landmark of me publishing a book. You know, I want to create a podcast. So one of the things I want to do 5 years from now is maybe create a podcast. Those are landmarks. Those are things that we use to measure our success, right? The route we take will determine the travel time. So the landmark measures your success, but the route you take to get there will determine the travel time, right? What I mean by the route is how are we moving and operating to get to where it is that we want to go? You know, that will determine how we're able to utilize and be able to create these landmarks. So that's why it's important that you put down what it is that you want to see yourself being, doing, and having 5 years from now, right? When you start writing things down, it will give you an overview of, really, do you have a real good understanding of your purpose and destiny in life? Now, once again, I say this. There's nothing wrong with you writing down, I want to have a car, I want to have a new car, I want to have a new house, I want to be married, I want to have a child, I want to go back to school and get my degree. Those are wonderful things to put down. But once you start writing those things down, you have to still put in perspective of what is your destiny, your calling. You're here to serve humanity with a gift and a talent. We're not put on earth just to get things, just to see how many cars we can get, how many houses we can get. But what are we utilizing our gifts and our talents to do? How are we serving humanity? We all on this call are operating in a millionaire's consciousness, right? There's no millionaire that I know of that does not serve a purpose. He begins to serve humanity at some point or level. There's no millionaire that does not provide a service. What service do you provide? Not how many houses you have, how many cars you have, how much money you have in the bank, but what service do you provide? And I think that when we get an understanding of what service we provide, it allows us now to really get a real good understanding on our destiny and our purpose when we come to the place where we can understand, oh man, you know what? Now I understand why I went through the things that I went through. I understand the path that I've chose. You know, you got to give yourself permission to live. If you're going to get on this roadmap and create it, you got to give yourself permission to live. And what I mean by that is, some of you are creating a roadmap. The roadmap may call for you to relocate. It may say, you know what you're trying to do is not going to happen here. So you got to relocate. That's something that you can't be afraid to do. You can't be afraid to relocate. You can't be afraid to walk away. What you walk away from will always determine what you walk into. What you walk away from will always determine what you walk into. What are you willing to walk away from? And I'll tell you what you can walk into. And when we understand the power that we have within us, the power to create our own reality, the power to become the architects of our own life, to lay out the blueprint, to lay out from 5 years, what can we do in 3 years? What can we do in a year? What can we do in 6 months? What can we do in the next 30 days, right? When we start working that, and we start utilizing the knowledge, the skills, the attitude, and the values, what do we value? It begins to change us and move us along our path, because we understand that we learn the path, right? We walk the path, and then we become the path. Same thing with this map we're creating. Right now, we're discussing the creation of the map. You that listen to this call, you guys will go home tonight after this call, or after this call, you'll start creating your map. You'll create the map, but then you'll start operating in the map. Once you start operating the map, then at some point, you will become the map. Understand there's no separation between you and the very thing that you're operating in. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness is your own reality. You meet nobody in this world but you. Everything is connected to you. You are everything. Everything is you. When we understand that and we really embrace it and allow it to really sink in, and we begin to act on that, you'll be amazed at how your life will begin to unfold. As we move from this level of where we are, we're orchestrating, we're jotting down ideas, we're putting together the map. Once you put together the map, you're going to start operating the map. You're going to start walking the map, right? Walking the path. And at some point, you no longer will operate the map, you will become the map. Everything you do is you. There's no separation between you and the very thing that you're doing. Where you see yourself 5 years from now is you. Because you are the only one that can stop yourself from being, doing, and having the very things that you want to manifest. So I'm excited because we are operating in a millionaire's consciousness. We are then, therefore, laying down our foundation. We're digging it deep down in our subconscious mind. We're operating and laying our foundation on the intangible realm, so that when the storms of life or when things happen, it will not destroy what we're building, but it will be able to stand the test of time. Because what we're doing is we are setting up for longevity and for our legacy, right? We're operating with the vision of our destination because we're looking at it from the spiritual realm, the intellectual realm, the emotional realm, and the physical realm. The emotional realm is very important because what you become emotionally connected to, you begin to magnetize it and you begin to bring it in. What you are emotionally connected to. You got to ask yourself the question, what in your life are you emotionally connected to? We can't be emotionally connected to drama. We can't be emotionally connected to gossip. Those are the things that we got to be able to disattach ourselves from. We got to be emotionally connected to being successful, be emotionally connected to being a winner, being emotionally connected to achieving every one of our goals. We got to be emotionally connected to turning our part-time dream into our full-time reality. Because what I'm emotionally connected to, what I'm intellectual, the intellectual part of it, what I'm connected to intellectually, and it will connect to me when I'm already at the foundation level spiritually, it will therefore move out into the outward picture of my physical reality. As I create these landmarks, those will be able to measure my success. But at the same time, I got to be able to create a profound and a real clear, simple, doesn't have to be sophisticated, mission statement about my life. What does my life entail? What is my self-assessment of myself? Now, you know, what can be very interesting for those who are saying on this call, you know what, I would love to create a roadmap. I don't know what I want in the next 5 years. I don't know where I'll be in the next 5 years. What I would recommend then that you do is, if you go to our YouTube page, we have a call called Declare and Define Your Destiny. On that call, I have a call sheet, and on the call sheet, there is something called the Will of Life. You listen to the call and you work with the Will of Life. The Will of Life will kind of put you in a place of, it will show you where you are. If you honestly work with it and fill it out correctly, it will show you where you are. And it will kind of give you a place of maybe where you would want to be, where you want to go. Do you want to, it will show you your priority, what do you prioritize in your life, what's important to you. It will show you where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. Give you an understanding of basically where you are in life and maybe where you want to be. And you will begin to meditate and begin to really hone in on that to find what is it that you love to do? What are some of the things that excite you? What are the things that you feel that you are good at doing? You have to be able to step out of old mindsets. This is very important. You got to learn how to step out of old mindsets and leap into the future. The best way to create the future, the best way to predict the future is to create it. You know, a lot of us, we are afraid of the future because we've never seen it before. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what next week holds. We don't know what next year holds, right? We don't know what 5 years from now holds for us, right? So we can become a little afraid because we're afraid of the unknown, what we have never seen before. So a lot of times we hold on to the past because the past is something that I can put my hand on. I can hold on to it emotionally. I can hold on to it intellectually. I can hold on to it psychologically because I've been there before. I know what I went through. I have an understanding of the past. So we hold on to the past. Bible says he that put his hand to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom, which means that if I keep holding on to the past, I won't be able to go forward. You got to be able to let go of the past in order to move forward. I got to be able to take that initiative and say, I can't hold on to the past anymore. I can't be afraid of the future because we know the best way to predict the future is to create it. I am able at this moment to create my future. What do I see myself doing in the next 5 years? What do I have to do in the next 3 years to get me to where I need to be at 5 years? What can I do within the next year to get me to the next 3 years that will get me to the 5 years? What can I do in the next 6 months that will help me in the next year, that will help me in the next 3 years, that will get me to the 5-year plan goal? What can I do in the next 30 days that will help me within the next 6 months, that will help me in the next year, that will help me in the next 3 years, that will get me to the 5-year plan? When we are able to master our minds, master our emotions, master every aspect of our lives, everything happens from the mind. When we learn how to master our own minds, mind over matter all the time. You'll be amazed at how powerful you are, because we are nothing more than our minds, what we believe, how we think, how we operate. What I need to do is teach you guys. I want to do a class on the self-evaluation of operating on how people think. And when you realize how people think and how they operate, it will change the dynamic, because you'll be able to really get a good understanding of how to really come into contact with people who you deal with every day, especially those of you that are in the corporate market, dealing with people, co-workers, so forth. But it also gives you an understanding of who you are. The greatest thing you can do in your life is to get an understanding of yourself, self-knowledge, self-awareness. You got to have it. You got to know who you are. You got to know and be happy with yourself, because you're not going to be happy creating a roadmap and creating this map of where you're going if you yourself is not happy. I got to be happy with me. If I'm not happy with me, then I got to make some changes within myself. Because remember, there's no separation between me and myself, or me and this map. I'm going to create the map, I'm going to operate the map, and then I'm going to become the map, right? But if I'm not happy, then the map is not going to be happy. It's not going to be a good situation. So I got to be able to work with me first. I got to make sure that I'm good. And then once I'm good, I know everything else is good too, because everything is coming out of me. I can only get what I become. I will only receive in life what I become. So until I become the very thing that I want to be, then and only then will it be made manifest. So I want you to take this tonight and begin to work your life's roadmap. What do you see yourself being, doing, and having in the next 5 years? What could you do in the next 3 years that will help you with the 5-year plan? What can you do in the next year that will help you in the next 3 years that will help you with the 5-year plan? What could you do in the next 6 months that will begin to help you within the next year, that will begin to help you in the next 3 years to get to the 5-year plan, right? What can you do in the next 30 days that will help you in the next 6 months, that will help you in the next year, that will help you within the next 3 years to get to your 5-year plan? I think that we can really begin to work on some things and really start utilizing every aspect of our knowledge, wisdom, understanding, our commitment, our accountability to really work with this and start moving in a direction that we want our lives to move. So some of you will say, well, I want my life to be this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this with my life. And all of that's wonderful. But at the same time, you have the keys in your hand. The keys of the kingdom are within you. The kingdom of heaven is within. You have it within you. He said, I want to give you the keys. The keys is whatever you loose in heaven will be loosed on earth. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven, right? Heaven is your mind. The earth is your physical reality. Whatever you release in consciousness in the spiritual level will be released in heaven, will be released on earth. So we're operating spiritual beings having a human experience. We want the balance. We want the balance. I don't want to be so earthly good that I'm no heavenly minded. I don't want to be so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good. I want to be able to operate in the balance. So as you continue to work with your 5-year plan, you want to look at a lot of things. You want to look at what season of your life is you're in. Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back into the replays, and we did a talk called The 4 Seasons of Life, where we talked about each season of your life, what is the 4 seasons, and what do they mean, and how do they connect to your personal life, to find out what season are you in. Based on the season that you're in, where do you see yourself being, doing, and having? What do you want to do? Because once you put it on paper, you're actually writing is the first level of manifestation, because it takes the very concept, the thought, the thing that you're thinking about, it takes it from the intangible realm and it makes it tangible. Anybody on this call that's ever done a business deal, they always say, well, let's put it in writing, because what happens is writing solidifies it, it makes it official. So write down, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And begin to start to orchestrate and really work with this as you can create your roadmap, where you break down the next 30 days, the next 6 months, the next year, the next 3 years, into the 5-year plan, right? But remember, we still got, in the midst of that, we still got to be able to write our mission statement about our lives. What is our mission statement? In order to understand your mission statement, you got to really do a deep self-assessment, because your mission statement is you. You got to have an understanding of who you are. It can't be based on what other people think. It can't be based on what somebody told you you are, or what you believe somebody else said about you, but you have to have an understanding of who you are. And you may not be able to write the mission statement tonight. It may take you some time to really put it together, because you have to come into a knowledge of self. You got to really come into a level of self-awareness and really look yourself in the mirror and say, listen, who are you? And you got to be able to deal with yourself. The greatest fight anyone on this call would ever fight is the fight against yourself. That is the greatest fight you will ever encounter in life, is the fight against yourself. So we're going to put our 5-year plan together. We're going to create our life's roadmap. We're going to be orchestrating and working with this. We're going to be putting this together. We're going to write our mission statements. We're going to continue to realize to use our travel bag, which comes with knowledge, our skills, our attitude, and also what we value. What you value says everything. So we're going to be looking at that. Tonight, we're going to be operating out of our mastermind seed, which is going to be $11.11. 11, the number 11 is a master number. It's a number that deals with duality. It deals with networking, net worth. It deals with intuition. It deals with the ability to cooperate, to come together, and to be able to join in. It begins to deal with partnership, but at the most spiritual level, it's intuition. It deals with operating and moving in intuition, being able to meditate and come to a place where you can find and connect with the God in you. When you find God, you will find yourself. And when you find yourself, you will find God. There will be no separation. So we're working tonight with the $11.11 mastermind seed. This seed that we're sowing is also going to help us operate in our month of July as we're moving into our level of expansion and elevation. July is a month of expansion and elevation. So we are operating in that. Also, we are working with, on Sunday, we want you to join us for the Millionaires of the Bible series. We're going good. It's been good. I think we're moving into the 8th chapter, and we're getting ready after, I think the August 1st will be the last chapter in the Joshua book, and then August the 8th, we will be moving to the Millionaire of the Bible series of Nazareth. It's going to be the yellow book with the gold star, so we're excited about that. Those of you who may have not been able to get on the call, you can always go to our YouTube channel, which is the Temple of Enlightenment, and you can listen to all of the replay of the calls. All of the calls, all our Wednesday night and our Sundays on there. And I have some big-time interviews coming up with some very prominent people. So we're going to be releasing those as well. But those tonight that want to do the $11.11 mastermind seed, why? We have to become masters over our minds. In order for us to master any aspect of our lives, you got to master your mind first. If you can master your mind, you can master your life. Because everything that comes out of your life, the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The word heart, subconsciously, the word heart metaphysically means the subconscious mind. So he's saying guard your heart, right? Guard your subconscious mind with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. And so if we're going to guard it diligently, we have to understand that we have to become a master over our minds. We can't allow our minds to master us. We have to begin to master our minds. And once we become a master over our minds, we can then master our lives. We can become masters of our own universe. And so we are working with the $11.11 mastermind seed. Those of you that want to operate and sow that seed, there's 4 ways that you can sow tonight. The first way is going to be you can sow it at Cash App, which is the $TOESC, which is Temple of Enlightenment Spiritual Center, TOESC. We also have PayPal, which is going to be Issachar Bey. It's going to be ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. Then we also have Zelle, right? Zelle is also Issachar Bey @gmail.com. And then we have Venmo. Venmo is going to be the @ Issachar, ISSACHAR-Bey, BEY. And so those are the 4 ways that you can sow your seed. We understand the law of circulation. So when we release a seed, or when we release any seed, whether we're going shopping, whether we are paying a bill, we operate in the law of circulation, which means that once we release it, we know that it's coming back to us. It's circulating back to us 100-fold. So whatever seed you release, whatever you're letting go out of your hand, it will circulate back to you 100-fold return. We speak it into existence, and so it is. And so we thank you tonight for those of you that are going to sow that seed. We also remember and understand that who you sustain will determine how you're maintained. And so we want to always encourage you that we are never trying to get anything from you. We're always trying to get something to you. Understand, that's why we operate in the law of circulation, because we're never trying to get anything away from you. We're always trying to make sure that we can get things to you. And you cannot receive anything with a closed hand. So we want to thank you. We're looking forward to those who are going to be joining us on Sunday. for the Millionaires of the Bible series, remember, we operate and move in consciousness. And a lot of us, since we've been in this millionaire consciousness, I know personally for me, there's so many things that have opened up, so many opportunities, things that you would not believe. So, I would love to, I should do maybe the last call. We should open it up and have everybody kind of give their testimonies when we do the last chapter of the book, which I may do on a Sunday. We'll just have everybody come on and we'll open up the lines and have those who want to, talk about different things that they've encountered, any kind of testimonials or anything like that, by operating with these laws and these precepts and these prosperity laws that we've been learning. So I want to thank all of you for tuning into the call tonight. And before we leave, I'd like to say this one thing. Your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. Thank you and good night.